This is not going to be a fancy comparison between the OpenAI ChatGPT and DeepSeek. I don't bother whether anyone spent $5 million or $5 billion behind their research. What I'm more interested is that I am going to see which product is more suitable for my day-to-day work. So I am not going to talk about the reinforcement learning or chain of thought. I will show the real happenings, like the real errors and mistake I found while compiling this video, the server busy error, the slowness that I saw while compiling this video. I will be doing some random IP generation, some industry awareness question, some logical problem solving questions, and some Cisco config related question from both DeepSeek and ChatGPT. I will also trick them with emotional ethical quiz and give them some coding examples to judge how and which one is more better and more friendly. At the end, the last part will be more interesting, where I am going to ask ChatGPT about the good points in DeepSeek, and I will ask DeepSeek what are the strong points in ChatGPT. So let's begin the journey. So here we have our first case. On our left, we have the ChatGPT. We are using the standard version that comes free, and on the right, we have the DeepSeek. So you can have it, like it's also available for free. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put my first prompt on the ChatGPT, and I'm going to compare the outputs with the DeepSeek and Gemini as well. So let's put the so what I'm going to ask is I'm going to ask for 100 random public IP addresses, and let's see how quick and what kind of response we get from the ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is generating the response, and it's giving me 100 random public IP addresses. I have run the same command already um, on the DeepSeek as well. So what we see over here is you generate 100 random public IP addresses, and here we see the random IP addresses. So here is the list of entire random IP addresses. It gave me 100. I haven't mentioned public IP address, so it has given me a list of 100 IP addresses. Also defined me which of them is private, public. So just a brief output at the end as well, the notes as well. Same thing has been done by ChatGPT as well. It's also giving me hint that how I can do the ping, but the best thing was done by Gemini. So when I go to the Gemini and I ask for some 10 random public IP addresses, it tells me that hey, it has some ethical concerns. It cannot give me public random IP addresses because it has a fear that someone can use them for unwanted traffic, for some potential abuse, some DDoS attack, and many reasons. So in this case, like the reason why I am showing you the Gemini output is that I really like it. It's showing the ethical concerns as well, which is very nice. Like it doesn't give random public IP addresses to anyone, which so the next interesting question that I have for both of them, I will just paste the prompt over here. So the top 10 routers in the network industry. So I'm asking both of them for the top 10 network routers in the industry. And here we go. So this is nice. ChatGPT has given me the output in a tabular format. That's what I like. I always ask for the tabular format replies. It's really good for me. So it starts with the Cisco router, ISR 4000, Juniper MX, Arista, Huawei is also in the list, and Fortinet, TP-Link, Netgear, Dell Technologies. So it's very nice. Like it is comparing all of them and also telling the key features each of them has with it. Again, our DeepSeek is taking a little bit time today. It's busy today, but anyhow, I got the reply like below. So it's also in tabular format. It's also actually telling all of them, like it says Cisco Catalyst 9000 is best. So maybe they are comparing it in a different way. But the thing which caught my eye, which was very interesting, is like you see there are multiple vendors over here: Cisco, Juniper, and you have Microtech, Arista, Netgear, Fortinet, TP-Link. Almost all good brands are over there, and it can arrange it as per its own choice, right? Maybe it's considering high performance or the high throughput or backplane or whatever SD-WAN technologies. But the thing which surprised me was that ChatGPT is a American product. It is counting the Huawei series as well. Like it considers Huawei also to be one of the good leading network router, right? Whereas the Chinese product, which is DeepSeek, it's a Chinese competitor, right? It's a Chinese company. It's missing its own Chinese router, right? You can't find Huawei router in the list. This surprised me a lot, right? The American tool is telling about the Huawei router as at the fourth position, whereas this Chinese company like DeepSeek, they have completely excluded the Huawei router from the list. This is really interesting. I also like to now compare it using some logical questions, like the logical questions that we used to have when we were kids, right? So some logical puzzles. So let's compare both of them and let's see how they handle these logical complex questions. So for example, now I will ask this logical question, this logical puzzle from ChatGPT, and the same question I'm going to ask from the um, from the DeepSeek as well. So here it is. So this was a puzzle which you might have heard, that there are three men staying at a hotel. The total cost of the room is $30, so that each of them pay $10 to go to the room. The manager then realizes that the room rate is only 25, so he gives the bellboy 5 to return it to them. The bellboy only gives them each one. So like each of them were costing like 9 now, like 10 minus 1, and kept $2 with himself. Therefore, the men have now paid 9. So 9 times 3 is 27, and the bellboy got $2. So the total is 29. So where is the $1 missing? So let's see how it handles it. So it's interesting, right? So the man initially plays 10, and then let's go quickly, and the same thing over here. The key puzzle, the mistake in the puzzle is in the line. The total is 27 plus the 2 the bellboy capped. Hence, the total is 29. So this is the key point which it caught, right? So ChatGPT has done a good job. This is misleading because 27 already includes the 2 that the bellboy capped. So instead of adding the 2 again, it should simply be 25 for the room cost, 2 kept by the bellboy. The remaining 3 is returned to the man, 1 each. So I know that you guys already have heard the puzzle, so I just want to know how the Chat GPT or DeepSeek has solved it. So the good news is that they definitely have solved it, and the conclusion is very clear. On the Chat GPT side, it has said 25 for the room, 2 for the bellboy, 3 to the return man, which makes it 30, which is like how nice it they have already described it. Whereas on the side of DeepSeek, I had little problem. I think their server is very busy. They being very popular right now. I tried it one, two, three, 4 times, and on the fourth attempt, I had to pause the video recording. And on the fourth attempt, I was finally able to get their answer. They also have answered it pretty well. But the way it was replying the response, I did not like it. You see, it's not very fancy. Like it is using very long variable, which is there was no need to it. You can see how nice Chat GPT has framed the answer on the left, whereas on the right for the DeepSeek we can see that it has got the correct answer. 25 plus 2 plus 3, yeah, it is also explaining the same thing. Very nice. Now, another case between the Chat GPT and DeepSeek I would like to do is like compare the configurations. Like I have some prefix list on my Cisco box. So I will now put the prompt over here. I actually have pre-composed the prompts so that I can save some time and directly go to the results. So I will paste it over here and explain it as well. So what I have is like I have two prefix list. So I'm explaining it as I go. Both of the prefix lists, like DNS1 for example over here, DNS1 has all the DNS IP addresses. DNS2 has some other DNS IP addresses. So these are two unique prefix lists. They don't match with each other at all. But what I'm asking my chat gpt to do is I wanted to compare if the IP on DNS list 1 and DNS list 2 are unique and they don't overlap each other. If there is any duplicate IP address or overlap, then let me know. So let's compose this over here, and in the meanwhile I will also give the same prompt to my DeepSeek over here. So let's see if DeepSeek is still thinking. It's in deep thinking. By the time it's compiling the result, let's look into what ChatGPT have given to us. Wow, It's amazing. So ChatGPT has made it in tabular format. That's what I like. So we can see over here like duplicate. Yeah, 888 it says is duplicate. 1111 is duplicate, and then 77 is duplicate. Okay, interesting, interesting. And it has compared both the list over here, right? And for those which are unique, it has mentioned as unique, and those which are okay. So something I didn't like DNS list 1, if it belongs to DNS list 1 it says yes over here, and if it belongs to DNS 2 it says yes over here. So I don't like the compilation over here, right? I think it could have like compared it in much better way. So it says that it is duplicate. Okay, it says that one I don't think this one was duplicate, so it's giving me wrong information. So it's not in the DNS list. It says it's in DNS list too. Not sure about that. I will just double check. So okay, so this server is still busy, so that's not good. So I have to try it one more time. I had to pause because DeepSeek was taking some time. So now the query is over here. I have two prefix list on my Cisco box is the same query. So the 111 it says it's duplicate, right? Chat GPT says, but actually when I looked into the DNS list too, it is not duplicate. So that's a mistake on Chat GPT side. So that's a big no, right? Then we if we look, so what it's doing is like it has two tables over here. Okay, DNS list 1, DNS list IP2, all the IPs. Then it is comparing over here. So it says that the only duplicate IP address is 42221. Okay, and then there is like it has also a duplicate 8888. Okay, so this list 2 has no duplicates. So what we find is that like the answer I got from the DeepSeek was more accurate. So it is more accurate. So what I did, like I tried to make a table. So I just said that hey, make a table side by side, and then I started to compare it. So now this is more better, something similar to Chat GPT. So make it in tabular format. It says hey, this one is duplicate, the 888 is in duplicate in DNS list 1 sequence 5 and 100. So this the first one is duplicate. And then it's also over here it says that duplicate in both list. Which one is duplicate? 4221 is in both the list. Yeah, and then over here it says that duplicate in list 1 sequence 5 and sequence 100. It's give the key observation which is more better to see. The 888 is duplicate is appearing twice in DNS list 1. Now this one is more accurate reply over here. Which one are the one which I like? It says that 8888 appears twice as DNS list 1, which is correct, and duplicate between the two lists is this IP address is in both the list, and then there is no overlapping IP addresses. Okay, which is something I didn't ask, but it's saying that since all the IPs are /32, so there is no duplicate. Now I want to give one more chance to this um chat GPT thing and tell them that hey, these two are incorrect. You see, this is not duplicate and this is also not duplicate. So I will give a second chance to chat GPT to recorrect it. Can you look uh into the DNS list again, as I think 1.1.1 and 77.88.8.8 are not duplicate. Okay, so let's see if it can fix the error, and it can but this is something which has shocked me, like chat gpt. Now it says that oh yeah, you are correct. So actually chat gpt did one error which I'm surprised a little bit, but now it is giving me a fancy reply. So it's now more colorful, two separate DNS list, and then updated comparison table. Oh okay, so now this time it's more better, right? It says this one is duplicate, which is correct, and this one is duplicate, which is correct. It is present in both the table. Now ChatGPT has done a good job. So now it tells and do the clarification very well. Is not duplicate. It clarifies it, which is good. Similarly, this is also unique. It's not duplicate. I like it. But anyhow, first time the ChatGPT did a problem. DeepSeek took too much time. I had to try it many times, pause the video in between. But I understand their server might be busy because it's very popular these days. So yeah, let's look into the second case now. Now I'm checking the Chat GPT and DeepSeek against an ethical problem. So I think lots of technical things we have already seen. I love to see the technical, beside technical, some ethical aspect. So there is a very famous trolley problem, right? The trolley is going and you have the liver with yourself. If you don't touch the liver, trolley is about to kill five persons. If you move the liver, it is going to kill one person. I'm sure you guys have heard about this query many times. So I want to ask the same query from both ChatGPT and also from DeepSeek. So let's see what they reply. Okay, so this content may violate our usage policy. Oh wow, excellent, excellent. And this is a classic example of moral dilemma. I don't know how it violates the usage policy, but let's see what it says. This is a classic example of dilemma known as trolley problem. It forces you to make a decision between saving more lives at the cost of sacrificing one. Pull the lever, consideration. Ultimately, it's a deeply personal and psychological question, and there isn't universally correct answer, which is true. Anyhow, so I like it, but the problem is that the deep seek is in deep sleep right now. It's very busy, so I will keep on trying, and then in the meanwhile I will pause the video. Okay, so I had to try multiple times to make it run. The DeepSeek was very busy. Finally, it gave me the reply, and the reply was very, very long. So it has understood the scenario, and it is saying the same thing virtually as the ChatGPT as the ChatGPT has been responding. And the important thing over here is that also it says that it has concluded that hey, this is the ethical thing, and there is no final answer, obviously. And it says at the end that in the trolley scenario, after evaluating the situation, I conclude that pulling the lever to divert the trolley and save five lives is better. But at one place also it is saying that ethically there is no universally correct answer, which is also true. So anyhow, the my main concern was like I wanted to give a ethical problem and see how logically these models can compute it, and whether they just give a straightforward answer or they can actually analyze it and give it uh, more diverse answer, right? So now let's run some coding problem and let's compare the coding capabilities between ChatGPT and the DeepSeek. So I have a coding problem. What I want to do is like I have a simple problem where I am trying to form some BGP neighbor relationships. The IP addresses are in some Excel sheet 1, and then AS numbers are in sheet 2. The passwords are in sheet 3, and if some of the BGP doesn't comes up, it goes and update the sheet 4. So it's a small problem. Also, I have added the telnet request over here, so I see that it has made a program over here. I won't go into very deep detail of the program because then it will prolong the video a lot. So I will put the same problem over here, and then I will give you the summary that which one I feel is more functioning and more properly working, right? So we see all the codes over here, 4 sheet. The results are put in the sheet 4. Okay, and then it's also explaining the code, which is very nice. And then it's also asking for the, because I'm trying to put the source in the Excel file, so it's asking me to do the open Excel um, to install it. Now ChatGPT is done, but the on my right hand side I have the um, DeepSeek, which is still busy. And then it has output the scripts in Python. It's very beautiful because over here the headline is there, and like the output looks very good to me. But I have actually um, I have actually looked into the coding. I personally like the coding much simpler on the chat GPT side, right? But everyone can have a different point of view, right? And later on I thought that rather than I just compare it myself, why don't I ask about this comparison from a different model, right? So we have multiple models. We can go to Gemini and we can ask Gemini. I have Gemini 1.5 over here, so I actually input the entire configuration codes from the from that was generated by the Deep and ChatGPT. So I input both of them. I name them as code deep deep was from the DeepSeek, and code ChatGPT, you have got it. Okay, so I called it code chat, and I gave both of those codes to it, and I asked Gemini to compare it for me. So why should I judge? Let a different AI model judge it. Okay, so it has said that both of them are meeting the same goal, same requirement, which is good. It does tells that there is some lagging, like DeepSeek is using pandas, and it's actually using Paramico, whereas it considered that using external libraries are not good for somehow. It uses SSH, which SSH key management might be required for Paramico, not shown in the code. I actually myself requested to use Telnet, right? So maybe that could be one reason. But anyhow, I went through this all of them, and I find that this guy also, like the Gemini also says that the coding of the ChatGPT is much simpler. If security is a top priority and you are comfortable with external libraries, code deep is better choice. Okay, and if simplicity and built-in libraries are preferred, then code chat is better. So I personally like the simplicities, and initially also I was liking the ChatGPT output. But every time you execute a prompt on the ChatGPT and Gemini, or on the DeepSeek, your replies and codes can go different. So you can have a different response each time. So if I am having a result, this doesn't mean that we have to judge ChatGPT in a certain way or DeepSeek in a certain way. I myself have experienced that whenever I'm running a prompt, I will get answer A at one time, and maybe after a few hours I will get a different answer, and answer B. The same code might be compiled in a different way, so it keeps on varying. And it might be because it's learning, or it also might be because I'm asking different questions, so it builds the history of the questions, and based on my questions it's changing the responses. It could be. You see the chat gpt is giving comments over here. Also, I also went to the down over there. Here they also describe everything very briefly. Both the models have done it. So I think both of them are really good. Hats off to both of them. So I will also go to the conclusion in my next case. Okay, so let's look into it. So now this is the most funny part, or you can say that this is the honesty test for each of them. I am going to ask ChatGPT in the prompt that how it how DeepSeek is better than ChatGPT, and in the same way I will go to DeepSeek and ask about ChatGPT. So I'm going to ask each of them about its competitor, and let's see how honest they are. So I already compiled it, I already run it just to save some time. So I see that ChatGPT is very honest. Like, it has told that hey, there is like context length advantage over here, like 200,000 tokens advantage over there. Wherever it's competitive or wherever there is an advantage, it is highlighting about the DeepSeek R1. So it's very honest, which is very good. I like it. It also says that the DeepSeek has limited internet browsing. I have no comment about it, but like some places I really think that it has been very honest. Like, for example, for the in the key takeaways, it is clearly highlighting that chat gpt has more widely user base, right? Which is true. And also chat gpt can support images and text, which is true, because on the side of deepseek it cannot, right? So these are the advantages on the chat gpt side. Let's look on the deepseek. So on the side of the deepseek, what we see is that they are also very honest. They are saying that hey, use deepseek for technical issues like it coding, networking, right? So which is good. Okay, and we have also tried some of those. And then also it says that it's structured output. I love to see the tables. So I always ask for the table output, and I have seen that the tables for the DeepSeek looks pretty well. And then the same way the answers are quick, and in case of ChatGPT, it goes for long storytelling, right? But ChatGPT has been there for a very long time compared to DeepSeek, which is also another thing. And then when we look into when to use ChatGPT, what DeepSeek says when to use ChatGPT. So this is very interesting. It says, hey, when you have creative and conversational responses, some sort of storytelling thing, sort of detailed explanation thing, which is true, right? We have seen in our test cases that the ChatGPT is doing a longer explanation. So I really like that both of them have given very positive and very honest opinion about each other. So like I think the conclusion, why should I conclude anything about them? These tools themselves tell about their competitor and a very honest reply. So both tools are good. I personally prefer ChatGPT because I have used it very long time. But obviously you have seen the video. Let me know in the comment section which tool you have been enjoying more in the last 1 week especially.